Despite progress made in fight against HIV and AIDS, gender inequality, poor access to services and poverty are fueling high numbers of HIV cases in Homa Bay. Homa Bay County has been flagged as among the most affected counties by the HIV and AIDS epidemic. Nearly a quarter of the county's entire population lives with HIV. Approximately 10,600 people test positive for HIV each year, and more than 3,300 people die of AIDS-related causes annually. Although Kenya has made significant progress in the fight against HIV and AIDS, the rate of young people testing positive with HIV keeps rising. This situation is threatening future generation, as many children are now living with HIV having been infected at birth. In Sophia Village, we meet Mary, not a real name. Mary is among hundreds of adolescents in Homa Bay who contracted the virus at the time of delivery shortly after birth. Mary has been living with HIV for 17 years now. She tells us that she got to know her status when she was 12 years old.
I was born with HIV and AIDS, and I realized it at the age of 12 when my mom used to give me drugs, and I would be like, "Hizi ni dawa za nini?" And she would tell me, "Hizi ni dawa zenye ukichukua utakuwa sawa." But due to curiosity, each and every time I would persist. And one day she decided to sit me down, and she told me that there is this disease called HIV, and I have it. Nilipata already nilishasikia HIV in class 6. So aliniongelesha, and then I was like, with that mentality of there was this in class 5, there was this book that had this writing that AIDS is a killer disease. So when I was told that I was HIV positive and I had the AIDS virus within me, I was like, oh, so I'm going to die. And my mom was like, no, you're not going to die, because there are drugs that when you take, you'll be okay.
With the family's support, Mary has been able to accept a positive status. At one time, Mary met a friend who had been living with the virus. She says that is when she began to accept herself.
I never wanted to tell anybody that I was HIV positive. So taking drugs became a problem. Stigmatization chipped in. I discriminated myself from my friends. And it reached a point that my viral load had shot, because I was not taking drugs, because I felt like I was not worthy of living. I felt like maybe there was a sin that I did, that's why I contracted the disease. My mom tried convincing me, my brothers, my father, but it was not working. I was taken to different counselors, but it was not working because I was so much hellbound that I was HIV positive, I'm cursed, and I'm going to die. But I came across a friend who she spoke to me, and then later on she revealed to me that she was also HIV positive. Nilishtuka, she was very healthy. She told me that being HIV positive, it's not a curse, it's something normal. And if I accept myself, I'll be okay. And then there was this energy that chipped within me, and I was like, I want to be like her. So I started taking my medication, and and also considering my diet, because before that nilikuwa na starve myself sababu nilijua I was cursed. I felt like I should die.
HIV behavioral changes proponent says risky behaviors such as having multiple sexual partners, having unprotected sex, and taking hard drugs are some of the contributing factors leading to high HIV positive cases.
Yes.
We meet Alex, not his real name, also from Sophia Village in Homa Bay County. Alex contracted HIV while in Form 2. At that time, he was a student at a nearby day school in his home area.
Lazima tulikuwa na mabeshte tulienda sherehe. Then it was on a Friday night. So tukapata na club. Agree tukaenda nyumbani. Then we had unprotected sex. Yeah. So after that, I never saw the lady again actually. So nikarudi home. Monday niko shule kawaida, but then nikaanza after some weeks passed by, but nikaenda kuna like malaria, some headaches. Then nikaenda hosi, nikapimwa, kuna malaria, nikapewa dawa. Then pia nikarudi nikiwa hadi kidogo. Then next time after some weeks tena ikarudi, but iko a bit serious. So nikaenda, then waka propose, okay, kama last time kuna malaria, are you okay to kupima HIV test? Nikasema okay, you can do the test. Wakapima, and then wakaniuliza kama umepatwa na HIV, what will you do? How will you accept it? How reaction yako itakuwaje? Nikasema okay, najua first nilikuwa najua I'm not positive, I'm negative. So nikasema kama nimepatwa nita accept, nitachukua tu dawa, but hiyo nilikuwa naongea before upatikane naye. So after kupimwa, then vile kupimwa first walitumia hii the oral quick, hii tu ya oral tukaweka kwa mdomo, then wakaniongezea like 20 minutes. Then pia nikakaa nje kidogo kupimwa, inatoka ni moja, ikitoka moja ni negative, ikitoka mbili ama ingine iko fail kidogo, hiyo ni positive. But then wakaangalia na hiyo wakanionyesha, nikasema mnaweza pima tena, maybe ilikuwa era ingine kidogo, wakafanya advance, walifanya sasa ile ingine like 3 times. The result was the same.
His family and friends, Alex says he would take ARV drugs every day.
So hapo ndo sasa stress ikaingilia. Dawa, wakasema lazima nikuwe enroll kwa dawa, nianze tu like immediately, wananienroll nianze immediately, kila kitu kwa system. So nilikuwa shocked, but sikuwa nataka waone ile reaction yangu that I'm shocked. Mimi nilikuwa na yule mtu, the silent person, siongei mambo zangu na nyamazanga tu.
Challenge of stigma and disclosure attached to the disease. Alex decided not to disclose his status to some of his friends.
To my friends, sijawambia almost kila mtu sijawambia. Juu saa zingine mnaweza kaa na beshte, then mnaona tu reactions zao vile wanaongelea wengine. Wanasema hata sasa unajua yule anakuwa na HIV. Hapo usiende nini, but sasa unaona ina create ile gap. Unapata sasa kama huyu ndiye anaongelea sasa, jinsi nguse mimi hapo ndio sign letter ingine, shida ingine.
Priako village, about 800 meters from Sophia village, is Esther, not a real name.
It is so challenging if you have a child with HIV, when you want to disclose where and how he got it. It is very painful for a child to know he or she is positive, but you have to gather that courage to disclose the issue so that he can grow knowing he is positive.
Community volunteer and a caregiver to a 9-year-old daughter, Esther has lived with the virus for 11 years now. Disclosure is always a delicate thing for most parents due to the stigma associated with the disease. adolescents living with HIV face stigma from the society. This makes them feel discriminated. Jane Gatia, counseling psychologist, tells us more.
That is one of the world view in the teenage, that they are good, they are smart, they can outdo anything, and they even believe they can't die, and that's why they take risks, you know. And in that confusion, some of them also get infected. But get to think of a teenager who discovers that they are living with HIV. That can be, first of all, very traumatizing. It can traumatize the teenager. And it can also throw them off balance in such a way that they begin to isolate themselves. They develop even withdrawal symptoms because they don't see how they will be able to engage with their own peers. And remember also, they experience peer pressure. And this peer pressure actually accelerates the story of I am different, I am not like them, they may not accept me, they may not like me. So those are some of the issues that the teenager will go through, and it can be quite tragic. And some of them even get depressed.
Mary found it difficult to keep her status to herself. This especially after students became curious due to a continued taking of medication for various ailments.
When I joined Form 1 boarding, stigmatization chipped in. Because now, wengine walikuwa nasema, ule dem anamezanga dawa za color blue. And I'm like, I even thought that my best friend was going to support me. But she failed me because she was the one who said to the whole school that I'm taking drugs. And it seems like they are HIV and AIDS drugs. I felt bad, but I kept on taking the drugs. And then one day I went to a counselor at my school. He spoke to me. He even gave me a purpose of living. He told me that I could make it in life. And it's not about other people. It's about me.
Into the prevalence of HIV in Omabi region have cited poverty, cultural practices, sex for fish culture, and lifestyle-related factors as major contributors to the epidemic. The region is also a hotspot for teenage pregnancies.
Omabi is still leading in the cases, and the number is mostly adolescents between the age 13 to 18 years. And this does not just only come with the HIV/AIDS, it is now a double tragedy where we have got the HIV/AIDS and teenage pregnancy. So they are all together as part of it. So we are still leading, and just with the new cases of new HIV infections. So we still have the highest number which we had by last time. Then again, during the COVID, the number increased because there's a high number of new infections within the region.
To bridge the gap within the society, the LIVDA, Lake Victoria Basin Talent Development and Adolescents Health, is working closely with the teens to nurture their talents. They do this through using drama and theatre to create awareness of the disease.
As long as you feel you are talented, and that goes hand in hand, whereby right now we are doing a workshop in terms to train people, both adults and young people.
Molo is the founder of Activate Action, a community-based organization. The CBO supports local youth on matters surrounding sexual and reproductive health in Omabi County.
Every young person that tests positive, they being referred.
Says is determined to create a culture within his community where HIV testing and reproductive health rights are openly discussed. The CBO has since become like a small haven for Mary to volunteer.
In terms of self-stigma, we are training them on how to accept their HIV status, how they can cope with their HIV status, and more how they can be productive even when they are living with HIV or disability.
Yes, besides supporting the teenager, I also advocate and strongly suggest that we need very strong programs, powerful programs that are focusing on the teenager. I know in our country, in Kenya, many things have been done towards helping the teenagers and particularly trying to curb new infections. But what about those teenagers who are already living with HIV? We need great support for them. We need the society to rally around the teenagers, come up with helpful programs, support the government as the government also support the society, and come up even with support groups for teenagers living with HIV.
Counties with the highest HIV prevalence according to the National AIDS and STIs Control Program are Homa Bay with 18.5%, Kisumu 17.3%, Siaya with 16.2%, 11.8% in Migori County, 6.7% in Busia, 6.5% in Mombasa, Uasin Gishu County with 5.6%, Nairobi County with 5.2%, Vihiga County with 4.6% and 4.1% in Trans Nzoia. Despite the personal struggles, victory is certain for those living positively as they have refused to be defined by the disease. Dolly Mwirigi Mbuvi for Hope TV from Homa Bay County.